Hello everyone, my name is Reese, and in this video I will be going through a spreadsheet that I've created that I believe could be helpful for anyone who's trying to work on creating a budget for themselves, as well as a useful tool that I think you can use to calculate how much income you would really need to support a given income. And so basically, you don't have to use this spreadsheet in order to do this, but I was trying to take some of the hard work out for you guys. And essentially, what this tool is used for is the first option is creating a monthly budget. It's a tool that you can use to break down your finances, see where your money is going when you're spending it, as well as just seeing where your money's actually going. And this is something that can really take some time if you haven't really dug through your finances, looked at through credit card statements, and really kept track of where your money is going. But I really think it's very important to have a strong understanding of your personal finances. And I know it can be a difficult topic for many people to really own up to and take a look in their own finances. A lot of people prefer to just swipe their credit card and just not look at it. And really, that's seems to be a pretty prevalent problem in our current society, especially with all these credit cards promoting the use of their credit card, as well as balance transfer cards with promising zero APY for the first year or so. It's just a lot of this consumerism is promoting a lot of people to spend more money than they have, and that's really led to a problem, I think, overall with the inflated credit card debt and student loan debt. And there's so many things, and I really think that knowing where your money is going, where you're spending it, and how much is going where is can really is one of the really important things that you need to know in order to get your finances truly under control. And so to start off, I will be first going through a mock budget, and this will be creating a budget. This tool's to help you create a budget to see where your money's going and if you're potentially overspending, and just help visualize it. And so for this purposes, I will not be using my own income. I will be using a pretty much a arbitrary income. I'm gonna be doing it at. So I believe I will be actually be using the. I believe it's the median U.S. income. Let me see, average. Oh, okay. Well, we'll be doing a couple of different ones. So this one is a pre-tax income of 31,133, and that's apparently the median pre-tax income. And I've included reference to a tool where if it makes it easy to calculate your take-home pay based on how much you're expected to pay in taxes. And so to say your gross, I'm gonna do 48,000. Okay, so let's say you're making $48,000 a year, so that's 4,000 a month. That it comes out to about 25 an hour. That I think that's a relatively common salary for adults. And so using this calculator, we're gonna do household income $48,000. Location. I live in Texas. I'm not gonna say where in Texas. I'm just gonna use Austin as a basis. And what's nice about Texas is that we have no state income tax and no local income taxes. We do have property taxes, but that's a different story. So, using this calculator, we put in where we live, your filing status, and your household income, and this can help give you an easy way to see what your actual take home pay is. And so for an income of $48,000, it's 40,273. And using this calculator, you're going to work your way from top to bottom and basically list your expenses from different categories to see how much income you have left over. And for this for this hypothetical income situation of 48,000 a year with a take home pay of 40K, now let's start going to work. So let's say this person is so they're working 48,000, and say they have an employer sponsored account. If you don't have a retirement account, you can just put 0 for your contributions. But let's say you're putting 5% in per month. of your overall salary. So times 0.05. Okay. So $200 a month being contributed. You can put, if it's applicable to you, put whatever you're actually contributing. And your IRA contribution, as of right now, you can max it out at 500, or about 500 a month will max it out for you. But for this purposes, I'm just going to say 250. So you're someone who's not quite maxing out, but you are contributing towards a 401k and IRA, and that's great. Employer benefits. This tab is for if you have HSA, dental, vision, health insurance, whatever expenses are getting deducted from your payroll. And this isn't, if you really want to do this accurately, it's going to take time to dig through, gather your documents, but I think it's really critical to at least do it once fully so that's done properly, so you get a better grasp of your finances. So for this, my personal employer benefit package is pretty good as far as not having to pay a lot for health insurance. So I'm going to use my number of $125 a month. Oh, and it includes HSA, so I'm going to do $225. Okay. Debt payments. So this includes student loan, carryover credit card debt. So if you have a outstanding credit card debt that you're making payments for every month, vehicle loans, whatever it is. I personally do not have outstanding debt, but for the purposes of this calculator, I'm going to put $250. Okay, so now we are left someone who's spending $475 in employer benefits and debt, and $450 between the retirement account contributions. After tax, they are left with $2,681. So this is where budgets start getting tight, especially if you're someone of average income. It really depends on your situation of how much money you have coming in and out, what your personal living expenses are. So really, there's no hard rule of thumb. Everyone's numbers are going to be different. This is just for example purposes. So let's say you're in a one-bedroom apartment somewhere and your rent is $1,250 a month, and your bills, so this is going to include utilities, phone service, internet. So let's say, so for me personally, I have my electrical bills a little under 100, but we'll round it to 100. Water bill, everything, phone bill, internet. My total utilities come to about $200 per month. Like I said, granted, it will vary depending on your specific plans and whatnot. Car bills, so this is including car insurance, gas, vehicle maintenance, etc. I didn't have, my car is paid off thankfully, so I didn't include that in the debt payments. And I have a work vehicle that I use for the majority of my driving, so really I'm not spending a whole lot in gas. So let's just say $50 a month in gas plus $50 a month in random maintenance. And then my car insurance, I believe it's about $150 a month right now. I'm not sure, but it's right around there because I'm on a shared car insurance plan, so it really depends. Food, I think this really depends on how much you eat out, and I really think that you should take a look at your credit card statements if you're someone who eats out a lot, because that adds up quickly. Someone who, if you can save a lot of money by eating in, especially if I'm not saying you have to eat ramen every day. That's not something I do. But even with that, and I'm able to keep my food budget to what I consider very reasonable. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to say the average expenses per person for someone who's living alone might be about $125 a week, depending on average. So that would come out to $500 a month. Personal needs. Now, this is for personal expenses, maybe toiletries, house supplies, like cleaning supplies, just whatever kind of things you might need around the house or that you use on a monthly or daily basis for your personal self. And I'm not saying things you want to use, but things you really need. Like maybe you need contacts, or if you're a woman, personal hygiene products, whatever it is. So it really depends on your specific situation. For the purpose of this, I'm going to say $100 a month. And then this leaves a income left over of $381. And so next, we're going on to wants. So if you have travel entertainment slash fun, which is like subscription services, games, entertainment, nights out, whatever it is. So like Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, just anything you do for fun. And then travel's obviously if like you're setting it, maybe you're not traveling every month, but you're putting money towards a pile for like a big trip that you use at the end of the year or whatever fits your style. So for this, I'm going to say 100 towards this travel, $100 a month on fun, or $200 a month on fun, and $50, anything, literally anything else that isn't included in this. Let's say $50. This is a pretty tight budget for someone who is on a 48K income, because by this definition, after you are paying off your debt, your net income, or after you're paying off debt, retirement contributions, which is great. You think you should do contributions. This total left over is $31 a month, and that can be used to set aside for emergency savings, personal brokerage accounts, or really anything you see fit. So this is why I really think that even if you're making 48K and you may think that you have a good hold of your finances, it really helps to list things out, because even this finance budget that I made as an example, which I don't think is really outlandish in any specific category, you're still getting to the point where you technically would be living paycheck to paycheck on this budget, because your total leftover income is what I didn't include savings accounts. This leftover is what you're supposed to be using for savings or whatever else you can. So I think that's why I really think it's important to know where your money is going. And this can really change if you take away, you have no debt, maybe you're contributing less per month to retirement accounts, and your employer benefits, maybe you're not paying much. Rent, saving, maybe you have a cheaper apartment, or maybe you're splitting bills, whatever it is. Maybe you're cutting down on food costs, really watching where that income is going, and cutting down on expenses. You can play around with it to see what areas could you potentially save money in to free up expenses that you can use for making an emergency savings. I really think everyone should have a expenses or a fund set aside for a rainy day, meaning anything, potentially losing your job or unexpected expenses that come up with your car or your house, anything just unexpected. I think it's really good to have. Everyone won't be able to do it right away, but I think everyone should be working towards having a 1 to potentially 2-year emergency savings fund, because that can really, once you're able to achieve that, it can really free up some stress, because you're not having to worry about, once you can transition from living paycheck to paycheck to saving towards the future and setting money aside, you're in a very good situation. Let's say we bump this pre-tax income up to $75,000. And I'm not going to go through the whole calculator again, but 57,424. So then now we're with $2,000 a month left over that we can use to be saving. So budgeting is really important for seeing where your money is going and how much you're spending where, and you could potentially use that to cut back on expenses. Now, you can only cut back so many expenses before you're getting to a point where there's nothing that you can really cut back on to increase the amount you can save. And that is where getting more income is more important. And that's how you can. And now the problem with more income commonly is that people refer to it as a lifestyle inflation. As you're making more money, you're spending more money, and that's very common. So it's good to keep tabs on your finances so that you really know, are you spending as much as you reasonably should be. Then the next part of this video is going to be talking about a reverse income calculator. And this is kind of the opposite. This is calculating how much income you would need to support a calculated lifestyle. So it's kind of similar to this, where we're giving our income we know how much we're making, and we're budgeting out different categories to see how much money we have left over, or if we're potentially in the red, and things that you can change to work around your personal income. On the other hand, this reverse income calculator is made for you to see how much income you really need per month or per year on a net income basis, so pre-tax. So you can play around with this calculator to figure out how much money you would need to actually make before taxes, but I won't be going through that. So, kind of similar things. Say someone with $200 a month in debt payments. You have a $1,250 rent, bills $200 a month, car. So same thing as previous, like car insurance, gas, vehicle maintenance, whatever. Let's put 300. Um, food $500 a month, personal needs 100, travel we're putting $150 a month per. So this will calculate before I get too far ahead. This is your total for your needs pile. And entertainment for fun, you say 150. Anything else like personal wants, like things that, maybe you're someone who's really into yoga, buying yoga mats, or someone who's really into movies and they're like a movie collector, or someone who plays video games and they're wanting to buy new computer equipment, video games, whatever it is that kind of just makes you happy, or that might be included in the anything entertainment or fun category. But maybe you're an avid cook, chef, and you really care about your knives or whatever it is. So we're just gonna put a placeholder value in at $75. Other financials, so this is going to be your IRA contributions, personal savings, or personal brokerage account contributions. So like something like Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, whatever it is. So let's say you're contributing $250 a month to an IRA. Personal savings, we're contributing $500 a month to. In a personal brokerage account, we are contributing $250 a month. And so that comes to $1,000 per month in financials. And based on this example reverse budget, we would need $48,300 pre or after taxes. So you could play around with this to see what gives you 48,000. So even just like entering a couple numbers, we're getting pretty close. So right around $61,500 a year annual salary before taxes. If you live somewhere, let's see. Oh, so Louisiana has taxes. It should have been in Texas. So that frees up it even better. It really just depends on your state you're in, because as I mentioned, Texas has. If you're in a state with no income tax, that makes things a little easier. Different places, areas will have much different realistic budget expectations based on your housing or food costs. It varies by area, but the goal of these tools I created were just to help you take control of your finances, visualize it, go through it. And as I said, it to do it properly with your own personal credit card bills, like digging through your expenses to track how much you're actually spending, can take some time, and it can take some ownership of looking into your finances if you're someone who's kind of potentially afraid or just trying to push it off to the side. But it's really important at the end of the day to take control of your finances, know where money is going, and you can use that to potentially cut back on expenses that you might be unnecessary. Or maybe you're doing really well and it can kind of just encourage you to stay on your goal, and just you can play around with numbers. And at the end of the day, I think personal finance is something that a lot of people potentially struggle with, but not everyone has to. So I hope you guys found this useful. I will be providing a link in the description to access this file so you can download it yourself. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any content suggestions or recommendations, feel free to comment below. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you have a great one. Peace out.